When you are in the interpretation stage of Bible study, it's very helpful to read your passage in a variety of different versions. There's a spectrum of translation versions out there, so you can be reading a more word-for-word literal translation, which can be quite awkward maybe to read in English. Or you can be reading on the other end of the spectrum a more paraphrase type of translation, which can be very easy to read, but may not be as literal or as word for word as the original text. So it can be very helpful, though, to help you get at the meaning of the passage to read in a variety of versions. Now, I go to the Blue Letter Bible. It's got a very helpful tool if you don't happen to own a series of different translations. And you know what? Even if you do, this is much faster. So it doesn't matter what version you use. I personally use the ESV, but if I'm looking for the variety of versions, if I type in my verse, let's say I want to look at Romans 12:1, I just enter it, and there it comes up. And if I go to Tools, a whole bunch of options come up there for the verse that I've typed in. I want to look at Bibles, because that will bring up the different versions there that Blue Letter Bible has. And it has a bunch. It has New International Version, English Standard Version, CSB. Now, if you're not sure what CSB stands for, just put your mouse over the button. It will tell you Christian Standard Bible, New American Standard, etc. And you can see that there is a bunch of Bible versions down here. They continue for quite a way. Now, you might prefer to look at your top 4 Bibles. Maybe you have never come across the Christian Standard Bible, but you'd like to actually look at the New Living Translation more readily. So you can just grab the hand, click it, and hold it, and drag that up there. And whenever you look at a verse, that's the order that you're going to see them in. Maybe you'd also like to see the King James, because you just like the King James, and you're just going to put that up there. So what you have then is you have a very literal translation like the King James and the ESV, alongside a more paraphrase or free style translation, the New Living Translation, and sort of in the middle is the New International Version. So you have a good reference there for the different ways different translations will work. Now, I also like the Net Bible, the New English Translation, for some of the ways that it helps me understand the meaning of the original words. Now, once I'm here, maybe I'm reading in the ESV normally, and I'm interested in the phrase that Paul uses at the beginning of the verse. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers. So I'm wondering, how am I to understand appeal? Maybe there's a help I can find in other translations. So I find the NIV says, I urge you. The New Living Translation, it's in a different place in the sentence, but he says, I plead with you. So there's a slight difference there. What do the other ones say? The King James says, I beseech you, which is an older word. The Net Bible says, I exhort you. So what you've noticed there is every one of those 5 versions use a different verb to express the original meaning of the verb, which shows you some of its richness, but also maybe can help you dig a little bit further to get to the original sense of what the author meant by choosing that particular word.